It's your boy Angelo Savage, man. It seems like right now we might be going through a personal baby birth crisis, man. That's how I feel it. Facts. I feel like right now we about to go through a real big old crisis when it comes to baby birth. But let me play this video and we can get a little background to this story. Let's go.
People around the world are having fewer children. And here in the United States, the White House is trying to do something to resolve the baby
What they
bust.
trying to do?
President Trump has dubbed himself the
Sorry.
fertilization president, and he's proposing incentives to encourage a baby boom. Tara Mergener reports.
As America's birth rate drops to historic lows,
Happy birthday to you.
Some families are doubling down.
One of our biggest concerns is that we're going to see a cultural mass extinction.
Malcolm and Simone Collins are part of a growing movement encouraging society and the White House to support family life to tackle the problem.
It's not like our society is one in which we really need to force people into having kids. In fact, we think that's a really bad idea. We only want wanted children in this world. But right now, we do many things to actively make it harder to be a parent, even if you really want to be.
CDC data shows the number of babies born in the U.S. hit a 45-year low in 2023, with only a few states above replacement level.
I think that's just a great tragedy because for most of us, kind of nothing lends our lives more meaning and purpose, absent, say, faith, for instance, than the opportunity of kind of being both a spouse and a parent.
Beyond missing out on family life, the overall impact could threaten the country and world's future.
People have had in mind since the 1960s this misguided worry about overpopulation.
Experts warn today's mindset about parenting carries broader consequences, like fewer workers, lower tax revenue, and an aging population with not enough younger people to support them.
Let me pause real quick. I want to add a little comment. You see, they quick to worry about the tax benefits of that motherfucker. How many people we gonna be able to tax in the future? How many people are gonna feed into Social Security? Because those are the type of things you got to worry about when your population is kind of low. When your population low, bro, we honestly, we not even at the point where other countries are. Like, there's other countries that got work, like Japan, South Korea. They birth rates are like minimal for real. And maybe because everybody waking up or not, but you got to think about the societal problems that this will occur if we continue down this path, which I don't think it's vastly fixed neither. Like, in order to fix this problem, man, we need a baby boom again. But, we haven't replaced the first baby boom.
Invested in friendship and family, you're going to be in a bad spot in the last chapter or two of your life.
Prominent voices are sounding the alarm.
The birth rate is very low in almost every country. And it's something, unless that changes, civilization will disappear.
The White House is now exploring ways to encourage Americans to have more children, with President Trump dubbing himself the fertilization president.
And we will support baby bonuses for a new baby boom. How does that sound? That sounds pretty. I want a baby boom.
A $5,000 payment to new mothers is one of the ideas under consideration, along with a $1,000 tax-free investment account to each newborn child in the U.S. Others include Fulbright scholarships for married or parenting applicants and federal funding for fertility awareness education.
This movement tends to actually transcend so many different groups. It incorporates your Silicon Valley tech bros. It incorporates many pro-life religious conservatives, but it also ties into a sort of crunchy con liberal or even libertarian who's really interested in these holistic health root cause approaches to fertility and overall vitality.
Simone has even floated awarding a national medal for motherhood for those with 6 or more children.
We need to show that we support and celebrate people who make these sacrifices.
And President Trump is pledging to lower the cost of IVF to make family growth more accessible. So what's behind America's baby bust? For many, it's not a lack of desire, but a lack of support. The cost of living is high.
Before she get into detail about the cost of living and why people don't want kids because of the cost of living, let me rewind it a little bit because I want to explain that not only is the cost of living high, but before that, they were trying to explain that, oh, mothers are this, mothers are that, even IVS. So you're telling me that you're getting $5,000 for the mothers, and everything, right? $5,000 for the mothers, IBS, and you know, that's in infertile. You know what I mean? Like for ones that are infertile, you can get the little test tube baby for real, and you can definitely have a baby for sure through that. You know what I mean? At least they're making it easier accessible. But check it. You got to think about this like through the long term. They mention women, but they're not mentioning men. And the reason I want to mention that to you is because it takes two to tango, right? But men aren't the ones that are also, they want sex, but men also know that the rules of the land has not changed since the 60s. You get what I'm saying? Right around that boom time. So if you think about it in the aspect of that, like in this video, this is a random video I found, but if you really start thinking about it as in like, you see they keep mentioning mothers, but they don't mention fathers. They see, oh, it's hard for a mother to deliver, then the mother to take care of, like as if she's a single mother. Okay, that's cool. But it takes two to mingle, right? That being said, you got to also imply that, what about the guys? You see, they putting all the responsibility on the mother as if the mother is the sole proprietor of why this is happening. First, there's a lot of reasons. Let me just start off before she started about the money problem. Feminism. Feminism is a big problem. And I'm not saying it's a huge problem, but it's a big problem when it comes to refertilization, because at the end of the day, we want to keep growing. What happens will become instinct, all due to the fact that women work more, which means they got more jobs that pay the bills. Like, why would they want to take off of those work? They spent their whole life trying to like gain access to these jobs. And now they have access to these jobs. Why would they have a kid? It doesn't make sense, right? Other than the love for a child, like the natural urge to love a child, which they're slowly getting away from, right? They're decorated. They want to have more experiences and not with like family, you know what I'm saying? More money. And you don't want to take away from that money. It all goes back entwined. Like it becomes, basically the women are starting to think like men on like why we shouldn't have a kid in the world. But you see, when men thinking, they're thinking with their dick sometimes and not their head. When they think with their head, they think logically and like, you know what? No more kids. They start thinking with their dick. They just impregnating females, right? But now women started to think like men and they're not thinking with their dick. So then you just got lack of babies on both halves. But I just wanted to mention that because I wanted to specify that they're not mentioning men, even though men are one half of the baby. So you have to, but I guess they're assuming that guys are going to want to pregnate women. It's really fully the woman's choice, which it is, because you got contraceptives, you got birth control, all that stuff. That all plays into a role of having a baby. Then you got high value women, or let's say high paid women in high paid jobs. You know what I'm saying? And they don't want to be taken away from those jobs and given less opportunity. You know what I mean? It gives them less power. And then on top of that, you got to put an aspect that the guys are another problem. The guys understand that family courts have not changed since the 60s for real. Since it's been made, and those laws still apply to this day. It's almost a risk to have a baby for real. So that being said, if you really want babies to happen and guys to pursue women, because guys, what they're doing is they're being shamed to pursue women. And then on top of that, they see the risk and the lack of benefits that we get for having a child. A child is almost as bad as marriage. I'm be honest, having a child, that's like an 18-year plus situation, bro. Facts. You can get married, you can get divorced in like 3 years and, just split down the middle, what y'all earned, and that's it. Hands clean, you keep moving. A child, 18 years plus, bro, maybe even college. Yes, child support if she leave you. So, it's more risky. So, and I only mention that to mention that they're only mentioning women as if the men don't exist, as if we're less important. But that's cool. We don't really care. Because at the end of the day, we're logical and we understand why we really ain't having kids. So until they figure out the real problem, this is going to forever be a problem. And unfortunately, we're probably going to allow it to happen. So we're going to see. Let me continue.
Childcare is more expensive and family dynamics have changed.
We've all heard the old adage, it takes a village to raise a child, and we don't live in those villages anymore.
Data also shows women starting families later in life. greater access to contraception, and other choices taking priority.
So please, is the loss of sleep, is the loss of identity, giving up your body, like, is it worth it?
That's a personal
Declining
choice,
faith
ma'am.
may also play a role. Research shows religious Americans are more likely to have children, while the non-religious, a group that's doubled to 29% since 2007, tend to delay or forego parenthood altogether. Not everyone, though, agrees it's the government's role to...
I want to apply that. Are they saying that like 29% of Americans aren't religious? That's 30%, bro. And it doubled since 2007. Hey, man, I wrote about this earlier, but I think we're going down a slippery slope here, man. Eventually, everybody's not going to be religious. They going to have too much morals. Bro, we gonna fuck around and be like Japan, bro. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Then who gonna be the most powerful U.S. Army in the world when niggas ain't got no people to replace the old heads in the Army? We gonna have senior citizens with the Glocks and the ARs? No, I'm good, bro. We're gonna have to nuke everybody at that point.
Clearly, they don't know how women's bodies work, and they don't know what it costs.
The desire to become a parent is not universal, even though we may all, most of us, may have the capacity to become biological parents.
Even among baby boom supporters, there's a debate over how to encourage more people to become parents.
We should be also thinking about how do we make the marital bond, the foundation of any effort to kind of address this fertility challenge that now faces us.
It's no secret what moms are demanding. So we chose paid leave, affordable childcare, and improved maternal health outcomes.
For many families, it's about the math.
$1,000. That's how much parents of just one little boy or girl are paying for diapers per year.
By some estimates, it now costs more than $300,000 to raise a child through high school.
Like if the financial is what you're struggling with, here's a way that we can provide a boost and really encourage you on that path.
The most important part when it comes to addressing falling birth rates isn't necessarily to incentivize having kids, and that's not exactly what the administration is looking at. The biggest thing is, how do we take a foot off the neck of parents who want to have kids or more kids?
Whether solutions to reverse the nation's low birth rate is through culture shifts or policy, it's clear many women aren't asking for a push and would prefer a helping hand. In Washington, Tara Mergener, CBN News.
I think that...
Me personally, bro, I don't think that's a good thing. Like, okay, like maybe I'm misinterpreting this, but I'm thinking like, what they saying, like the government should just damn near fully fund the birth of your child. That sounds crazy as hell, bro. Facts. That sound nuts. If that's what they're implying, like, oh, if you want us to have kids, then fully pay for them. Like, nah, they're not doing that now. Come on, bro. That's a reach for real. But if I was me, yes, you got to incentivize the women to have kids. But what it is there's not a lot of relationships. If you think about it, 1/3 of men are sexless or haven't had sex in a year. So that applies to it. That's 1/3 of men, right? And then you know what they say? 20% of men are fucking 80% of the women. So there's gonna be babies from different men of high value, of course. And then they're just gonna be single parents, which they set themselves up for that based on relationship choice and who you choose to be in a relationship with, right? Right. So that being said, man, you can't just blame one little, I can't just fully put the blame on women. Men are to blame too. We don't approach no more. You know what I'm saying? But then again, that could be due to technology, TikTok. It can be due to social norms. It can be due to a lot of things. And I like this conversation. This is a conversation I would like to actually have with like a panel, because I want the girls to come out and show me, or tell me at least, what they personally feel about this situation. Because in this aspect, I really do believe that there's a problem in our society when it comes to the children. Now, Elon mentioned it once, and that's cool, but I want to take it a little farther. I would just want to let y'all know that at one point, do we actually look back and be like, dude, we're in trouble if we don't continue, because then, say for instance, we actually do go to war, because at the end of the day, us as the United States, us having weapons is the real reason why we even are the big boss dog we are, our military. What happens when that military, what percentage of humans, of Americans are military personnel? You get what I'm saying? So what, you're going to have to, because that's really the biggest part of the world. Extinction is one thing, right? That's a big broad, but then like currently everyday shit, every year shit, like our military must be equipped with soldiers. You know what I'm saying? Unless we plan on replacing those soldiers with robots. That sounds about right. But let's get back to the conflict at hand. What's going to happen? I was thinking long term. I said, man, what happens if we get to the stage where we have no choice and men are like, you know what? We're going to raise a kid. A man might fuck around and have to, you know, women might start selling their eggs off. And then they would just, you know, use the sperm, make a baby for real on some incubation shit. Facts. You know, if I think if it had to come to that, they would do it. But as of now, they're just trying to incentivize women to like, hey, man, find a man, settle down, and, you know. But then again, you can't tell that to somebody that's a boss babe. I wouldn't even do that. Like, that's me telling a woman, man, hey, man, girl, you a doctor, but I want to make a family. I want you to chill out and just raise my kid. Bro, you think she going to do that, bro, for real? No. Women are logical, too, when it comes to that money. They definitely, and this when they get money, they're going to protect themselves. They're going to see the liability. I'm telling you, they thinking like us now, which I don't blame them. Honestly, I don't blame women for thinking like men, because that's just what the society has led us to. You know what I mean? The feminism, you know, it helps them, but also hurts them at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Now it's going to hurt the whole country. But really what they need to do is actually change the rules of the law. Like, hey, man, if, you know, maybe child support rules, maybe, you know, the percentage of, you know, something like that. Maybe they need to just change something, just because. And the reason I say this is because I'm going to talk about my men. I'm going to be like, hey, man, maybe us men are scared to have kids. So like they put in full autonomy on the women, but you think the women are sitting there talking about take the condom off? Hell no. The dudes are probably like, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm going to take the condom. I'm going to keep my shit on, or I'm going to, you hear me, pull out gang. Facts. Because, and the reason I say that is because I want the listeners, my subscribers, to understand that there's a pull and push here. There's not just a one-sided thing. Because in this at least clip that I've been watching here on YouTube, this seems like it's just one-sided. And it's not one-sided. You got to imply that the guys are also individuals that will suffer in or do differently in this. So I think personally, we just going to have to let it play out, man. You know, China ain't going to have this problem. China got 1.3, 1.4 billion people. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you might have 100 million of their feminists, but look, they're going to still have army regardless. We are suffering with 350 million people, including elderly and young youth. So we better hope that they do that. But I'm be honest, the way this world is heading right now, bro, I don't see it. Yeah, so sometimes you let things self-destruct until it's too late. Now you're trying to incentivize and give them 5K. Like 5K ain't enough, but then again, 5K is a lot. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if you're going to already have a baby, then yeah, get that 5K. But if you wasn't, baby's a lot of responsibility. For those that out there that don't know, having a child is a very big responsibility. It is not for the faint heart. You literally think about your day as 24 hours. You get 8 hours of sleep. Nigga, as the baby is like under 1, they like sleep 12 to like 15 hours a day. Bro, these niggas sleep all day. Think about it, bro. They sleep all day long. Bro, yeah. Until I had my son, bro, I didn't realize how serious this shit is, bro. You don't get no free time, bro. There's none. So, hey, do I blame the women for not having kids? No, I don't. I'm be honest. We shouldn't advise them to have kids either unless they're married as well. So that's that. Yeah, they might want that quick 5K real quick, but that 5K going to be gone in like 2 months for real. Not even. And you're still going to be stuck with a baby that you can't afford into a society that forces you to work for low minimum wage. See, that's how you got to reverse engineer it. Okay, if I have a baby, I want a baby for my generation, but I can't afford it. Okay. The United States said they're going to give a nigga 5K. All right, I'm going to take that 5K, but then that 5K going to run out real fast, and it's not going to buy enough what you need, because you need clothes, You buy baby clothes, but the clothes don't fit them in like a month or two for real. So no point of buying them. Like little clothes, buy them like a size or two up. Diapers, you better hope that you potty train them quick. Sometimes it don't take them until like 2 to 3 years. Some people get them faster, but that's a lot of money in diapers, bro. For real. $45 for the pack of 100, bro. You spending that every like week and a half, not even. That's a whole nother deal. Then the time you got to take from work to babysit them, because the amount of babysitting costs the same amount of mortgage, bro. I'm telling you. So me personally, I don't see a problem with women not having kids. The economy not good enough to have a child. You'll be a fool right now to have a child. Facts. So I'm not saying that it's 100% good that women aren't having kids, but honestly, logically, it makes sense not to have a child at this moment, at least. Interest rates is highest. Food is expensive, bro. The people are losing jobs. Like, how do you think somebody gonna have a baby right now, bro? And I'm not gonna lie, I have a friend right now that actually is having a baby, but he's gonna run into the same problems, because having your first child ain't the same as having your second. Definitely when it comes to it, the economy costs more money. And now if you need 2 kids in daycare, you got to pay for 2 now instead of 1. So that's 2 mortgages plus your mortgage. Yeah. The country going to have to do a lot more better if they want to incentivize people. And I'll be honest, I heard that it's scary too, because the housing market is going to do the same shit, bro. Everybody's going to be renting and no one's going to buy homes, bro. The market of houses are not going to increase like people think they are. They're going to stay at a level, or they're going to decrease because, when it comes to real estate, not to be on a tangent real quick, I'm going to say this and get off. Not to be on a tangent, but for real estate, it's if you need it, it costs more money. If you don't need it, it lowers. So when people are starting to rent, nobody's going to be buying houses. That means the value of your house go down. You know what I mean? It's supply and demand, and the supply is abundant and the demand is low, which makes your house go down. So, and that feeds into the baby. Like, why buy a house if I don't have a family? So, you know what I mean? So those are all entwined with the same things. You just got to put those all in together and see what you think about the whole conversation, man. If you got any knowledge from this video, y'all tell me in the comment section. It's your boy Angelo Savage, man. Make sure you like, make sure you comment about what you think about this. What's your personal views about women not having children, the government incentivizing men also doesn't want kids either. So, and how would that affect the future? So y'all tell me that, what y'all think in the comment section about that. It's your boy Angelo Savage. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's go. Peace.